Bree.berries, but you can call me Bree, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For adults who may have misdiagnosis as children. Hopefully it can help you on your journey as well. I'll just get this video out. It's important. It's an important topic. Welcome. If you would like to follow my wellness journey, be sure to click like and subscribe. I want to talk about the importance of self-diagnosis in autism in adults, especially like autism in women, and why that could be really important on your mental health journey. Developing coping strategies, being able to advocate for myself in spaces, in my relationships, at school and at work, and also to gain access to things like clinical assessments. That's really where my journey started. Well, no, actually, my journey started, a friend of mine shared a YouTube video with me. He shared a bunch of YouTube videos with me that were basically like, you know, you might be autistic if ... type videos. And even like, yeah, like that format was really helpful for me, because like as I was watching these like 15 minute like videos about like the different traits of like autism in women and female born people, it was like really resonating with me. And I was just like, oh my god, like maybe, you know, this is like onto something. So I had that like response just to the videos, but then I'm like, I'm probably not autistic though. I probably just related to these experiences because it's people just talking about their experiences. Then I watched one person do a video, and in the under the video they linked clinical assessments to help find like out if you have like autism, to help find autism traits in adults that escaped it. That's weird to me. But yeah, so I ended up taking 3 tests, and I'll like link the video. I think I'm also gonna make a playlist to share, because I just think that could be helpful. It was helpful for me in my journey. And this is like almost a year ago. Yeah, because today is March 1st. Today's March 1st. That's crazy. So today is March 1st. I hope to have this uploaded like right away. Like tomorrow. Yeah. Because I'm making this video on my iPad, and I don't know how long it's going to take to upload, but it should be uploaded by tomorrow. I'm going to edit it tonight. But what I'm talking about. So, okay, so that's what I want to talk about, access to clinical assessments. So if I would have never watched this video, I would have never even had the idea to take the clinical assessment. I already felt like, wow, like I really relate to like these traits, like how, like I felt like they were just like kind of like sharing my own life experiences with me through the, like how you know that, how you know I was feeling that way. Like it was just too relatable, just way too relatable. But at the same time, it just didn't seem like enough proof to be like, oh, I'm on the spectrum. So I took these clinical assessments, and one of them is called the RADS-R. What's crazy is that I took this test and my score was like abnormally, I won't say abnormal, it was very high. It was high. So I scored a total score on this test of 201, And I was just like, oh, okay, like, oh, no. So, you know, they're like, you're likely autistic. And I'm just like, wow, like, okay. So then I didn't stop there because I was like, not sure. This was like in the very beginning, like, I've done so much research and like read up on so many different things, and like I've learned so much now since like a year ago that I'm not confused about it at all. Like, I'm absolutely on the spectrum. Anyway, so then I took the Aspie quiz, and then I scored really high on that one, and I was like, oh, okay, so it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't not that it would be a mistake, but like, you know, like it was just like, okay, so 2 quizzes, and then I scored a 182. So it says your broader autism cluster score is 182 of 200, right? You are very likely on the broader autism cluster. So then boom, so the Aspie quiz and the rads are, and I'm like, okay, so maybe I should talk to somebody, like a professional. And then what was the other one? Oh, the Cat Q. The Cat Q I took and scored a 166, which that website is really cool, just as far as like being a source of like information. I'm gonna link all of these assessments down below, but it was really important. It was a really important turning point for me to take the clinical assessments, because it was just like, wow, okay, this is more than just a feeling. Not that like how I felt about what I was learning or hearing wasn't valid. I don't know, it's a journey, right? But yeah, so then moving on from that, so boom, that was like in the fallish, in the fall, I don't know, whatever, it was last year. I don't really remember the time frame, but I know that by the fall I decided to go see a counselor, because that's what I could afford to do, is see a counselor. So she had me take the ADHD clinical assessment because there was nothing that she could do really to help me with an autism neuropsych, or with a neuropsych eval for autism. They could only give me a psych eval for ADHD, which she had me take the clinical assessment because the two are commonly comorbid. She had me take a ADHD clinical assessment, which, yeah, like I definitely have ADHD, like, and then I learned that the two are commonly like comorbid, ADHD and being on the autism spectrum. So I was just like, wow, like that's crazy. That's useful information. That's cool to know. But just like having the language to call out what I felt like I was experiencing for all these years, like from childhood, it's just kind of deep, and it's just kind of crazy. I'm 29, and it's really crazy because I'm only just now finding out, because I ended up returning to school in the fall. Starting school. Well, I say returning to school because I dropped out in high school because I had such a hard time as a teen in a school environment, which now I have the language to kind of describe like what I felt like I was experiencing. I just thought, oh, well, I'm crazy because the smell in here is like making me cry hysterically, or like the texture on the floor is so gross that I'm having a panic attack, or just like so many things. It's just so overwhelming. Okay, so yes, I found out that I very likely have ADHD also, and that is a comorbidity with autism. I just started learning everything that I could possibly learn about autism. I started reading up on like different books, different people's experiences, following like different like YouTubers online, and then like sourcing like their information and just trying to find as much, you know, access to information because there was no one that I could talk to. So back to my counselor. So there's like nothing that she could do. When I told her like, oh, because I kind of started my journey to try to find to get like a referral to a neuropsych evaluation. And I obviously, like I had, not obviously, but like I had no luck. And basically like it's like $6,000 and up. I mean, my insurance does not cover that, but yeah, it's like very expensive, and there's really no way that I would be able to cover that at this point in the game. Like, that's not about to, yeah, so it's really kind of fucked up. But I ended up even seeing the counselor because I knew that I needed support with my schooling, and I was having a lot of the same feelings that I had in high school before I dropped out. And it's really important, I'm getting like fake emotional. But it's really important or empowering to have the language to be able to name like what is going on with you. And it's just helped me even to be able to research coping mechanisms to you know, do what I can, because it's still empowering. It's definitely frustrating, but that's still pretty empowering. The importance of self-diagnosis, gain self-awareness and understanding. Yeah, forgiving myself, that was a huge factor. It's just really valuable. First of all, like the clinical assessment alone is just like really valuable because like people really struggle. I really struggled in school, at work, in personal relationships. And it really would have helped if I knew what was going on a lot sooner. I would have been able to like receive support, like not having the language to even call out like what is really happening. Like other people can't support you because if you don't know what's going on, they're not gonna know what's going on. They're not gonna be able to help you. So it's a really important to be able to name what's going on with you in order to advocate for yourself in different spaces, which is like really important for like your quality of life. Boom, 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 boom. So I really just hope, the reason that I'm making this video is because I hope to share everything that I've learned so far in my own mental health journey, in order to like kind of like help others who can identify with some of the same things, especially like it's already an issue for like people who don't fit a certain criteria, like for people who are not like white boys who struggle with autism or a late diagnosis of autism. And it's really unfortunate, like being a woman, but like being a Black woman on top of that, there's a lot of invalidation that happens within our own communities where it's like you don't even have the opportunity to like exist, almost, where it's like, no, that's not, you're fine, like that's not what you're going through, or why do you need that label specifically, or like just a miseducation of like what autism even is, or what that looks like, or what that experience is like at all. And I had to even check myself a lot too, because I know for a fact that there's a lot of people in my family, because it is hereditary, who also fit the bill of being on the autism spectrum. Whereas if I didn't go out of my way to find information and learn about autism and ADHD. I mean, like, I'm a fire sign. Like, I might just be out here invalidating people's experience just out of just like real quick, like on a whim, just like, oh, that's not, because if that's true, then this would also be true, and then it would just like undo everything that I understand to be true about mental health and like who needs help and who doesn't. I don't know if I'm saying the right things. I don't know. But yeah, like it's a problem. And it's really fucked up how people are struggling out here just trying to get support, because even it takes a long time to even get in a position where like you're able to be like, okay, I need help with this thing, or I feel like, you know, this is what I'm going through. And then you try to get the support and it's not there. It doesn't exist. So yeah, that's like the main reason that I'm making this video, is because I really want to kind of create, kind of like build a bridge there between that disconnect of like motherfuckers like me who can identify with being like neurodivergent and not being able to qualify for support, because not even just like the fact that it's so expensive to get a neuropsych evaluation, but like, first of all, the fact that there are no programs that exist to support. Like, I live in New York State. Like, you wouldn't assume, like, you just wouldn't think that you wouldn't be able to find, like, there's not any organization that exists that helps autistic adults. Matter of fact, ADHD, funny thing. So really, it's hard to find support for autistic adults. But with ADHD, I can get an ADHD diagnosis. In fact, like, I'm in the process of getting an ADHD diagnosis, but it's contingent upon, like, if I agree to get prescribed medication, then I could get a diagnosis. But if I don't agree to get medication, then I can't get a diagnosis, which is like, the fuck. And then it's like they're very commonly comorbid conditions. So it's like, how is it that you can get support for one and not the other? Like, that makes zero sense to me. Yeah, I just had to get this out to like get the conversation going. I'm gonna try to be more organized in my next video, but it is what it is. It's the end of the day. I'm tired, and yeah, it's just like really fucked up, and it's hard to find the language, especially when you're going through that shit like real time. Link to my blog is down below if you want to follow my wellness journey and follow my mental health journey and hear more. And wow, this was way longer than I intended. I'm gonna edit this, like, yeah. But yeah, soon I'm gonna try to like post content like regularly and kind of get a routine of how, or process over time. I don't really know, but figure it out. Bye. If you would like to follow my wellness journey, please. Thank you for listening. Be sure to hit like and subscribe.